All right, today we're gonna learn how to use the circular saw. What's a circular saw, you may ask? Well, here is one. All right, here's the ones that we use in the shop. All right, this is a sidewinder version. The blade is off to the right side. It is called a sidewinder or a direct drive because the motor is right here on the side. All right, that spins the blade. Okay, so we're just gonna make our first cut. It's just gonna be a 90-degree cut. First thing we gotta do is make sure we're making any blade adjustments that our saw is unplugged. So the saw is unplugged, we're ready to go. Then we're gonna make adjustments. We just want a 90-degree cut with no bevel, making sure that our bevel is totally tight and that we clamp it down so it doesn't move. All right, the next is the blade height adjustment. There's this tab in the back right here. All right, might be hard to see because the handle is the same color as the saw, but the handle on the blade adjustment is right here. It is loosened right now. There is a guide. This is really hard to see. In the back right here, all right, it tells you how deep you're going to go. This is a 2x4, so we want to go just a little bit past, all right, a 1/4 inch past the 1.5 inch mark. So it has 1 3/4 mark. That's perfect. All right, then we're going to make sure we lock it down. All right, there's another way to do that. All right, to check our blade depth. All right, I'll kind of show you, try to show you here. You can have your saw like this, pull the blade back. All right, usually it'd be sitting down, but for our intents and purposes, I'm going to show you like that, and you can see that the blade teeth at the very end are just sinking down just a little bit lower than the workpiece, and that's what we want. All right, that's how another way you can tell what you need. All right, but you could do that by just going like this. All right, or I'll show you this way, like this. Okay, and you can tell how much lower it is than the workpiece itself. All right, let's say I want just a 4-inch cut, 90-degree cut. All right. All right. Make our crow's foot pointing right at 4 inches. Okay. Make our line. I'm using markers so you can see it better. Make our line, and that's where I'm going to cut. Okay. Now it is time to plug it in. Okay. So now it's safe to plug in. All right. I'm going to put, first got to clamp, make sure your workpiece is clamped down. All right, make sure that the workpiece that you're cutting off is sticking just a little farther out than your sawhorse. All right, both hands on. Make sure you start the saw up just before you hit the workpiece. All right, here we go. Wait, and I'm going to press it, the trigger down, wait for it to go to full speed. All right, the best way to judge, all right, is just you kind of look at your blade here. All right, there's like a little window staring down here, and I can see the blade. All right, if you're cutting something long, you can take a look at this little notch right here. All right, if you're making a 0-degree cut, which is a 90 cut, you can follow that line as well. The saw is almost too long for that, but you can use it as well. All right, so all right, ready on this cut. Wait till that blade stops spinning. All right, you can hear it still spinning. Wait till it stops to pull it away. All right, you can see that the blade, all right, after you're done, let the trigger off, it will still spin. So I'll show you here. My finger is off the trigger, and it is still spinning. All right, so I'll show you one more time. That's full speed. Finger off the trigger, it's still spinning. You don't want to be waving your circular saw around when that blade's still spinning. All right, next cut is a miter cut. Same kind of deal. Alright, you're just going to follow your line. Alright, but with a miter. So let's just say I want it 35 degrees. Here's our miter right there. Lock it down. Alright, here we go. Alright, I'm just going to follow my line. You can see my line, and it's very important that I follow my line. If I get off of it, the saw might want to kick back on me. Alright. That's the miter cut. Next cut is a bevel cut. Alright, so I'm just going to cut and square this off here, okay, because I don't want, alright, that anymore. I'm just going to draw another line. Alright, so I can start off with another square cut. Alright, just draw another line. Alright. Gonna wait till it stops spinning. Alright. So the bevel cut. Alright. I'm just gonna draw another line. Let's just say 3 inches down. Alright. Or it doesn't really matter how far down, but I'll just give myself some room. Alright. All I need to draw is another line, okay? And the beveling will handle itself by adjusting the saw. Unplug the saw before you make any adjustments. Alright. There's the bevel adjustment right here. Let's say I want it at, oh, I don't know, 30 degrees. Okay? I lock it down. And it's ready to go. This line, it's kind of hard to see, but it says 30 degrees here, and there's a notch, and you just line up this with that, and you're good to go. So I want my bevel going this way. All right, so I'm going to cut from this side. One thing you might also have to do is when making a bevel is that you have to raise your blade height just a little bit so it can set a little deeper so you can make it all the way through, because once you bevel you kind of shorten the depth a little bit. Alright, let's clamp this down. Alright, here we go. Just gonna follow, alright, my line, and the saw will do the beveling for me. Easy as that. All right. So there's my miter cut. All right. Oop. Miter. And then there's my bevel cut. All right. You see the difference there? This I just had to follow a line to make it on the flap. This I had to actually bevel my saw and cut it in this way. All right, to get that bevel. All right, the next cut is a combination of the two, called a compound miter cut. Use a new piece of wood here. Okay, so I'm going to, on the flat here, I want a miter. That's where the compound miter. Let's just say I want a 40 degree. Okay, right there. But I also want a bevel. So off of that miter, I'm just going to bevel it. Let's say 30 degrees. Okay. My saw's already beveled at 30 degrees. That's why I chose that. Okay. And I want to do it on this side as well, connecting all 3 lines. All right. So it looks something like this. All right. So that's our miter, and then you can always check our bevels on the edge. All right. See how it's one continuous cut. All right. So you have a bevel, which you can identify on the edge, and then a miter on the flat. All right. So circular saws make this really easy, because all you got to do is set your bevel and then follow your line on your flat, and then that's how you get your compound bevel, compound miter. All right. So all the saw's already beveled to 30 degrees from the last cut. All I got to do is follow my line. All right, there it is right there. You see I have my miter, that's clear to see, and then I have, you can see it here, it's beveled on the edge. All right, mitered and beveled. All right, that's our compound miter. It's a combination of a miter cut like this. All right, that's just a regular straight miter. All right, on the flat, and a bevel. All right, that's cut on the edge. All right, the last cut that we have is a notch cut. I'm going to grab a new piece of wood. All right, so you're going to want to draw out a box like this for your notch, okay? I'm not notching all the way down, okay? I just went 1.5 inches down. All right, 4 inches over. All right, and I just used my speed square to do that. So you can see it there, 1.5 inches. All right, and 3.5 this way. All right, and then I marked on the edge as well, and then marked on the other side. So it's marked on all 3 sides. Okay. So I'm just gonna secure this to the sawhorse. All right, and the idea here is to set your blade depth exactly where you need it. All right, so it's still beveled, and before I change anything, I'm gonna unplug my saw. Release the bevel adjustment, get it back to 0. All right, now I can adjust my blade depth. So I just rest my saw on here, okay? And I'm like way too high, okay? So I know I have my gauge over here. I can just set it at 1.5 inches, lock it down, kind of double check on here. All right. Might be a little low. Raise it up a bit. All right, that's more. Whoop. That's more where I want it. All right, you can see that those teeth at the bottom there are right where the bottom of my notch is. Okay. And I know it is because it's on the 1.5 inch mark on my saw. Most saws are pretty accurate about that. And what I'm going to do is just make a bunch of score cuts. All right. So I might have to do this by switching the sawhorse around so my blade and my motor is on a side, all right, that the motor won't interfere with the clamp. The motor's on this side, all right. That's a common mistake. It's like, oh, I can't do it. It's like, well, just switch sides, all right. If I wasn't filming, I would just walk around the other side. But see how I can make my notch cuts this way, all right, without the motor getting away. When I was this way, coming this way, the motor would have hit. All right, I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of little cuts about every 1/4 inch. If you do it right, you don't have to do much chiseling. Let the saw stop. Grab a chisel. Oh, there it is. Alright, this is one of the most satisfying things in carpentry. Alright, and you can just break them all like a dominoes. Alright. And now all you gotta do is chisel some away. Alright, and you can have at it. Alright, circular saws are great for making notches. Alright, a little bit of chisel work, and this will look nice and flat. And you can fit a full 2x4 in them. Oh, that's not a full 2x4. Alright, something like this inside there. Alright, so there it is. That's the circular saw. Alright, and the 4 basic cuts that you can do with them.